What's up, America? How's everybody doing? Welcome to Solution Seekers. I'm Kelly, and this is post election. I hope everybody is content or happy about the state of things as they are. I know that Mr. Trump isn't, and those of his ilk are not, but it's time for a change, and let's hope that when everything boils down and the ballots are counted and collected and verified and ratified for the people of the GOP who wants to make sure that everything's been done as it should have been or as it is. And, we don't, let me rephrase that. Everybody's not in the environment of cheating, swindling, lying, being not being accountable, such as Mr. Trump, who's the loser, the biggest loser. Who's the you are the weakest link, Mr. Trump. And that doesn't mean to say that I dislike anybody who I have some friends of mine who are conservative, but I don't have a problem with nobody conservative. I have a problem with individuals. I have a problem with the Proud Boys. I have a problem with the people who don't like me based upon how I look. Are you hating me because of what I look like? Are you hating me because I'm sexy? I mean, all bullshit aside, I'm just trying to lighten things up. It's been a very trying weekend for me. I just had an MRI of my brain, and as the thumbnail shows, that is me getting an EEG, which is checking the brain waves to ensure that everything is working as it should, because I'm getting massive migraine headaches. I'm having some memory issues, and but at the end of the day, I'm still alive, and that's what my whole reason for being here on YouTube or on my podcast that I have on Anchor and Spotify. That's what the whole thing is about, because it's never about me. It's not really what I can do for myself that ultimately matters, but that which I can do for somebody else that truly and deeply matters. I was talking with I went to work last night. As For you guys that don't know, I'm an Uber driver on the weekends, and I was talking to a woman from Montreal. Her name was B, and we were talking about the state of things as they are in Canada versus here, and trying to look at, we've been inundated with so much information, and then that what I try to do is it keeps the emotional distress down. Is what I try to do. I'm not always successful at it, especially when it concerns myself. Is to try to look at information from an academic perspective, such as, for example, let's say if you're in high school, if you're in college, and you're at work, and you're brainstorming ideas, and everybody's writing stuff on the board, and you got this idea, that idea, and that idea. I would just take all this information that I have and just house it somewhere, and just try to do an analysis of it from an academic perspective, which means I'm not emotionally attached to it. It's not an easy thing to do, but it's always going to be hard if you don't ever try. And that's what the whole thing is about. It's about trying, because I want to get to I would like to, me myself, I would like to get to a place where things are not easy, things are not hard, things are just what they are, and it's shifting. It's a perspective shift that enables me to try to look at a situation that I'm trying to get, that in the past used to take me down those complicated labyrinth rabbit holes. Whereas now, with a little bit of work and a little bit of effort, now I can kind of like look at those things that used to really cause a lot of emotional distress. Now they're just like, it's just a process, and and lately I've been having some conversations about the process over the perspective. Before before 2020, it was all about a process. Now it's about perspective. Because you remember back in the day, February 2020 or March 2020, it seemed like a long time has passed. And that's not the process. That's about perspective. And am I enlarging my perspective, or am I allowing the emotional distress to get a hold of me? And I know a lot of people are dealing with certain situations in their lives, whether it's the COVID, people are dying, the emotional uncertainty. The election, the post-election, the battle states that are coming up in Georgia, the two Senate seats, which will change the tide of everything and who actually controls what. Um, but politics is going to be what it is. But more so than that, fuck politics. I mean, it's important, but it's not the end of the world. I think us getting a stimulus package would abate a lot of cares and concerns for a lot of people. And let's be honest, not being able to pay your mortgage, not being able to feed your kids, not being able to put gas in your car, not being able to find employment, not being able to, you know, feel like you're a productive member of society because there's a job shortage, there's a money shortage, there's a shortage of everything, there's a shortage of opportunities, a shortage of resources, depending on where you live. Here in LA, we really don't see that all that much, but I know in the Rust Belt and down south and that and smaller in the rural areas are having a lot more difficult time with a lot of things as opposed to the larger urban areas because we just don't see it. But what I have seen is that, and it's distressing, man. It's just seeing the homeless numbers just booming, and it's I'm going to do. I was homeless, that's part of my life's journeys, and I was homeless several times over a set period of years, and it was by choice because I'll explain it in another video sometime later, but that's part of my story, which I still haven't truly elaborated on. But anyway, emotional distress shows up in many different ways. I was talking to a friend of mine who's having some more health issues. And I was talking to her after I got back home from having my EEG today, and she's saying, "Fuck." Now, once again, all that shit's popping right back up. And how the fuck do you deal with that shit? You put forth your best effort, you ensure the trust that the doctors are doing the same things, and you go through these operations, you go through these procedures, and the shit shows right back up in your fucking doorstep all over again. You know, and I'm dealing with the same shit with my back, and dealing with life, dealing with this COVID, and will my job be there? Well, you know what, the hell of the job, because I'm going to find the opportunity regardless of whatever happens. But dealing with this health shit is it's on a different level of emotional distress. There's some days where I'm just like, dude, you know what? I'm tired. Let me just give it all up because I'm done. I mean, I'm literally done. But then you know what? That's the larger voice in my head. But there's a smaller voice that says, Kelly, you gotta keep going. You gotta keep going. You just gotta keep going. And then I go put on some Les Brown, some T.D. Jakes, some Tony Robbins, Joyce Meyer, ad infinitum, the Alan Watts, or sometimes I'll just go watch some Medea, or sometimes I'll come down where I'm at my friend's house now, and this is where I typically do most of my videos because I can't get the right scenery where I live at, and but it's emotional stress. But I will say that another friend of mine, her mom just had to go through cancer, and I think she beat it once again, and her husband just succumbed to it a couple of years ago. So and I'm just looking at other people as an inspiration for me to keep going, and that's what I do in all aspects of my life. Sometimes when life shows up on my doorstep and I don't know how to I just don't know how to go forward. And I go on social media, I look at some people, I go in some different groups that I'm in, and I'm really seeing some people going through some really perilous shit, or I just go talk to some homeless people. It's fucking cold. It's cold out here in LA. It's like probably in the 40s right now, and I'm outside. I'm all bundled up. I got the Dixon on. This is Kobe Bryant. I'm representing. What's up? You know, um, but like last night, I picked up a dude that Uso from Watts actually, and he just got out of county jail, man. He's trying to get his life back together, man. And even he didn't know this, man. I was under a whole lot of just emotional pain, man. But you know what? I took the focus off myself and told him what's required of staying out here and not being a victim of being thrusted in that another system of slavery, which is incarceration. You know, even though I was physically incarcerated, I was never truly mentally incarcerated. So I took the shackles off my mind, even though they were on my wrist and my ankles. But but my point in mentioning that is that it's that having that one moment of clarity where I can take the focus off myself and put it on somebody else, man. It's just a sheer blessing that I can do that. You know what? By the end of the trip, and it was like from Hollywood to Santa Monica, so it was like 30 minutes. So I think he's kind of like seeing that, man, this shit is possible. It is possible. This dude's out here making more money than me per hour. It's like, well, maybe I need to get a little gain from him, but and and short, this is what I tell him, and this is what I tell a lot of people. If you're out here and you're not thriving, you're not truly living. If you're not trying to change the circumstances of your life, because nobody can make those decisions for you. A lot of times, if somebody wrote me a check that would take care of all my financial responsibilities for the rest of my life, I would still have to go out, and the problems will still show up on my doorstep, and I will still have problems I have to deal with. And I would like to meet them face on, as opposed to letting life make a decision about my life. But I would much prefer to make some decisions about my life and fail, as opposed to letting life make some decisions for me where I have no say so. And that's where I'm at today. And this emotional shit shows up. It shows up in many different forms. But at the end of the day, I had the ability to wake up. I had the ability to waking up this morning. And for those of you who know, man, people are dying. The corona spiking. There's a vaccine, but none of us has got it yet. But still, people are still succumbing to it. They're catching it, and then they're passing it on to other people. And the numbers they're increasing because it is summertime. There's several countries that are locked down. The woman B, she told me that Canada's locked back down once more. And what do we do about it? Only thing we can do about it is just stay shored up emotionally, stay shored up mentally. I was saying, I'm sorry, I was interrupted by a video call. Somebody called me, but that emotional stress, it works. It shows up in many different ways, and I don't think that any of us are exempt from being a falling victim to it. But to which degree and which level are you going to want to be a victim of it? Because the victim works in 2 points. If you don't do nothing about it, it's not going to go away. Okay, my greatest struggle, challenge, hurdle, whatever you want to call that adversity, is just another opportunity to learn more of getting over any situation of life ills that life may thrust at me at any given time. And it's contingent upon me to do it, because, like I just said earlier, nobody's going to do it for me. But if I continue to watch the news, I'm going to get emotional distress over some shit I can't control. If I look to see the life's ills, I can't control it. But what I can control is that if I can impact one person, hey man, my job is done. And I think that works for me. Typically that's my immediate solution. And a lot of times that doesn't even work sometimes. Sometimes I have to really go hard in the paint. So what I'll do is I'll go on Twitter, I'll go to work, I'll go on Twitter and say, look, man, for the next 2.5 hours, anybody that gets in my car, I'm just going to give them all kinds of quality and value. And then, do you know that my cup is typically empty at that point? But then after a couple hours, man, my cup is overflowing. I'm feeling a lot invigorated. I'm feeling more optimistic about life. Because life sometimes will just have you just like, fuck, really? The fuck did I do to deserve this shit? Because I'm in the picture. And you know what? We really can't see our situation when we're in the frame. So sometimes you have to pull back and possibly see somebody else that's dealing with some life ills that you can possibly give somebody a solution to. While I'm giving them quality and value in their situation, lo and behold, I found out that by giving some quality and value away, I can find and give it to myself. And that works. That works a lot, most of the time. Sometimes it's about getting chili fries, getting the PlayStation hooked up, and I don't even watch TV. And I just started watching The Mandalorian because my friend Nicole said, I hear her in my head, "What are you gonna do, Kelly? Why don't you just go watch some TV?" I'm like, I don't watch TV. I got shit to do. I got websites to make. I got all these videos to edit. But I don't never end up doing it. I just have them all stored in my computer, that I just haven't, because of my own distress has impeded my progress on certain levels. But at some point in time, it'll all get done because it's there. So I do listen to a few people on their input because I know that their input typically works, but I hear them in my head just running off. Oh my God, Kelly, what are you gonna do? What would you? Won't you take your own advice? Damn, that's a good idea too. I think I'd give some pretty good advice for the most part, but can I give myself that own same advice? And I'm not saying this my input or suggestions I give the other people. I'm just going listening to what they're telling me because I don't. If you ask me, I'm still that same cat I was on the street when I was running up and down from Skid Row downtown LA all the way down to Watts, losing my damn mind. But I'm not the same person anymore. I've evolved, and the evolution of one person is through the process of change is an amazing process, man. And the things that I'm getting and the things I've been giving to others is just it's an amazing process. So it's that emotional stress, and it's going to come in different ways. Whether it's your job, whether it's your significant other, whether it's your household. Trust God knows I have some issues in my household, but that's neither here nor there. But a lot of times, this is my perspective, my approach to the situation. That and a lot of times, always outnumbered, always outgunned. If I'm not going to do it, who the fuck is? If not me, then who? If not now, then when? And that's the perspective I typically would like to change because I'm not gonna man, I was a victim for a very long time in my life, and I refuse to be that same person anymore. Man, life is too short. 2020 is just it's time for a whole different me. It's a whole different you know and then if you don't know how to do it, well, reach out to somebody else, and that you see somebody who's doing it, and ask them, how in the fuck did you get there? Won't you give me some input and keep it real, keep it 100 at all times. I've been super solid from day one, but I haven't always been super solid from day one with myself because I always put others over myself. But today, man, it's not about me. It's about everybody else. And you know what? That's a far cry from the person I was. And, I think I said enough. But if you got anything, please like this video so I can move up in the algorithms. And please subscribe if you haven't done so yet. So until next time, peace out. And if nobody has told you today, Kelly loves you.